Greetings, John here with a look at Epic Games' Paragon. Paragon marks the first Epic-developed Unreal Engine 4 game to release on consoles. Now, it's an engine with a mixed history on these consoles, but between the stellar-looking Gears of War 4 and now Epic's Paragon, it's clear that things are turning around. Paragon hits the PS4 running at 1600 by 900 at 60 frames per second. A sacrifice in resolution was made in the name of frame rate, but it actually works out pretty well here thanks to Unreal Engine 4's excellent temporal anti-aliasing. The game's TAA does a tremendous job of cleaning up the image, resulting in a soft but extremely stable looking game. But just how close does it get to holding 60 FPS in gameplay? Well, I ran through a couple of different matches and tried to locate sections which seemed to stress the engine. Here's a decent run where I noticed some performance dips. With a game like this, it's difficult to determine just exactly what is the worst case scenario, but this is pretty representative of our experience with the game. When drops do occur, we typically see a few torn frames here and there, but it rarely becomes noticeable. There are also occasional hitches that can feel kinda jarring, but fortunately these aren't that common either. Keeping in mind that the game can display loads of minions and up to 10 heroes on screen, it does actually keep up pretty well. Of course, while the scope of the game is rather MOBA, the map here is attractive looking and the action is fast. The fact that the frame rate manages to keep up so nicely is pretty impressive. But how was this achieved? Well, according to Epic, the game uses a static sun position with mostly static geometry, light mass is used to bake in global illumination, and only dynamic objects actually have shadows. Alpha effects also appear to be rendered at a lower resolution here on PS4, so clearly the game isn't pushing UE4 to its limits, but in the scope of a game like Paragon, the choices made here were certainly the right ones. But how does it fare against the PC version then? In order to find that out, we loaded up the same replay on both versions of the game while flying the camera through the environment. As you can see, the results are remarkably similar. The PC version here is set to 1080p with the highest settings enabled. General world detail and LOD pop-in is basically like for like here. Even the dynamic lights here at the end pop in at exactly the same point on both versions. The only real difference we noted is the inclusion of higher resolution alpha effects on the PC, and of course support for higher resolutions. There is a bit of a strange issue here with the PC version, however. The options. By default, the game detected my hardware to run everything at the lowest possible settings at a resolution of 853 by 480. Going against the warnings of the game, I went ahead and cranked everything up to the epic setting and increased the resolution up to 1080p and even 1440p. In all instances, the game ran perfectly fine on this system. So be warned, if you load up the game, make sure to adjust the options on your PC, otherwise you might be stuck running at a very low resolution with all of the options pretty much disabled. Moving back to console, there is one other cool feature I have to mention. The game actually supports a keyboard and mouse, just like the PC version. Now, it's nothing new for Epic, of course, as the PS3 port of Unreal Tournament 3 also allowed mouse and keyboard in addition to mods, but it is a nice addition in 2016 and it helps bring the two versions closer together, especially since cross-platform play is enabled. But that's really about it. The game looks and plays nicely on both platforms, and we're happy to see that Unreal Engine 4 is finally starting to bear fruit on these consoles. While not developed by Epic, we simply can't wait to get our hands on Gears of War 4 later this year, which is also running Unreal Engine 4 and looked absolutely excellent at E3. But that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. And until next time, this is John signing off.